Well, guys, roughly a month after the Omicron surge peaked in Berrien County, COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and positivity rates are plummeting. Other factors like new treatments, vaccination rates, and more widespread immunity also play a role in bringing us into what health officials are calling the post-surge phase of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In fact, all of the information that's shared in these meetings, you can find online and take a look at whenever you have time to. But when police officers and community members can look at some of these trends together, they end up sharing some details that you can't get just by looking at the numbers. Well, the couple told me that this has been their home for the past 18 years. Well, I also said that they're grateful to have just made it out alive. They can't stop thinking about the belongings, pets, and memories that burned away in this explosion. Well, understandably, people are telling me that they're frustrated. The 14th person in the last 6 weeks to be struck by gunfire was hit last night here at Laurel Woods apartment complex. He was also the 6th person in the last 6 weeks to die from gun violence. And we have a breaking news update. We've just learned the identity of the victim from last night. It's 28-year-old Deontay Williams. He was the man killed in the shooting from last night here at Laurel Woods apartment complex. For now, reporting live here in South Bend, I'm Jack Springate, 16 News Now. And one thing that we're going to try, we got these fried Oreos, guys. These are one of the things you can get at this vendor booth right behind us. We're going to take a bite. These ones are fresh.
Not fair.
Sorry about it.
Yeah. You said a mouthful there.
Yeah. We just got to go out there. Yeah. Jack Springate live for us in South Bend. Jack, thank you. Bring some back for us.
Well, the victim in all of this was 32-year-old Dustin Lavelle Saffel, who officers say had a history of fleeing from police officers, violence towards police officers, and being armed with deadly weapons. He also had numerous warrants out for his arrests that were related to some of these tendencies. Well, we got up to about this point here on my ruler throughout today. That's 8 inches since I first got here at 7 in the morning. And one of the reasons that's been able to happen, we've seen so much snow accumulation, is because it really just hasn't stopped since I've been here at 7 all the way now to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And I just want you to think a little bit. Imagine that it's a couple months down the line. The weather's a lot nicer than the rain and chilliness that we have here today. You're enjoying something from Sun King that's now opened up across the street, and you get to enjoy some live music while hanging out on your rooftop patio, socializing with your friends. Now, what I just described is a random Thursday for potential renters who want to move into the Front Street Apartments is the most recent pitch to young professionals to get them to settle down here in Mishawaka. Well, this is one of the neighborhoods in the heart of South Bend where Bender can not only start building new affordable homes, but they can also start breaking down the barriers to home ownership for people in our Black and brown communities.
Clean, safe, affordable.
It's not easy to find a home that checks all 3 of those boxes here in South Bend. It's even harder if you're not white. Homeownership rates for households of color were more than 25% lower than homeownership rates for white people, according to census data. The rate for Black residents is even lower, less than half the homeownership rate compared to white people.
Who's in to reimagine our neighborhoods?
Well, Bender aims to open a path to homeownership for anyone, regardless of the color of their skin. The initiative could have a more profound effect on Black and brown communities that could last for generations.
I purchased my house in 2009. It was worth $66,000. Now it's worth $110,000. My parents couldn't have taught me that. My parents couldn't have given me that in 2 years, So just over time, understanding what it is to own land, how appreciation does work.
As the first homeowner in her family, Hairston brings experienced advice to first-generation homeowners and to Bender.
I didn't have help to reach out for my credit. I didn't know how to save money. I didn't know how to maintain a home. So for me, I want to be that resource for Benders, to be able to feel like they have someone to reach out to. They can talk to someone.
Steve Smith from Irish Realty also brings real estate expertise, but he's also bringing allyship to make homeownership in South Bend more equitable.
We see a disparity in Black and brown homeownership, and definitely there's an education about how to become a homeowner. There's a gap there, but even once you get that basic education, there's a lot of other barriers too.
Bender's founder, Shane Williams-Inez, is recruiting realtors, lenders, youth leaders, basically anyone who can bring something to the table, so one day a community like this will exist in his hometown.
Our group has been putting a lot of effort into it behind the scenes for the past 3 years, and definitely in the past year, the milestones that we've made. So just to have people come together, to want to support, to commit to being all into the project and bringing their resources and their knowledge and their expertise, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
I'm in.
So anyone who's interested in bringing their talents or resources to the table, or if you're just interested in learning more about Bender, you can head to this story on our website where we'll have some more information. But for now, reporting in South Bend, I'm Jack Springate, 16 News Now.
Young patients at Beacon Memorial Hospital's pediatric and newborn intensive care units are still getting in on the action. Jack?
Yeah, Terry, well, it's tough being a kid that's dealing with a serious illness, and it's even tougher when you have to spend most of your days in the hospital getting treatment. Now, there are still kids here, even though the zoo is closed. The kid I'm talking about is the baby Talkin. They're actually called kids themselves, and thanks to a very generous donor that supports both Beacon and the Potawatomi Zoo, the kids at the hospital have a little bit of the zoo fun coming to them. Now, these are the goodie bags that nurses are bringing to each kid in Memorial's NICU and PICU floors. And not only do they arrive on a sweet alligator-themed wagon, check that out, but they're also filled with some awesome goodies, too. The kids got to unpack cool animal-themed puzzles, some sweet cheetah shades, a book about the zoo, and even more to celebrate the new giraffe exhibit. These goodie bags also supply these kids with a chance to feel like they're a part of all the fun during a really tough time in their young lives.
That way they know that they're still included, even though that they're here. The nurses enjoy it as well. We are pediatrics, we're kids at heart, so we don't mind getting in on the fun as well. So it's fun for the staff as well.
And the zoo opening up for the season is once again another sign that summer and warm weather fun is right around the corner. And yeah, Terry, like you mentioned, they're open from 10 until 5 during their spring hours, and that extends until 8 during their summer hours. But zoo season is just getting started here in South Bend. We're really excited, had a great day here today, and look forward to the rest of the summer. Terry?
16 News Now reporter Jack Springate joins us live to take us through a day in the life of one of the DNR workers who stocks the St. Joseph River with these fish. So what did you learn when you visited the Bodine Fish Hatchery, Jack?
Yeah, well, it's not a glamorous job, but it is one of the reasons some people can catch trout and salmon hundreds of miles away from their native streams. The staff at Bodine makes sure these fish are not only ready for the long swim out to Lake Michigan, but also for the upstream swim back home. It's not quite the deadliest catch.
Got a couple more to go.
But you could call it the slipperiest. These steelhead trout started their journey back here at the Bodine State Fish Hatchery in Mishawaka, where DNR staff raised them from eggs for the past 15 months.
The spawning habitat in the Great Lakes region is not suitable for natural reproduction. You know, these fish evolved in pristine mountains, waters of the Pacific Northwest. You just don't have that here. So it's kind of hatchery based.
18.8. Once all the tails are tallied, the fish loaded in this truck will head to one of the stocking sites along the St. Joe River to start their life in the wild.
Now the intent is that they will hang out in the river till about the end of April, beginning of May, and during that time they will imprint to the scent of the St. Joseph River before out migrating to Lake Michigan.
The trout and salmon spend 2 to 3 years maturing on the lake, which is why some of the fish from hatcheries in the Hoosier State can be caught as far up as Wisconsin and the UP. Here's some of the trout our photojournalist Tyler Woods caught off the coast of Michigan City. The fish that don't find themselves on the wrong end of a fishing rod on the lake will find their way back to the St. Joseph River. They'll have to navigate upstream through a series of dams at 5 different locations along the river. They have to go through fish ladders like this one in South Bend to make it to the next part of their journey. This gives researchers a chance to monitor fish populations by tracking which ones swim by this window using a camera.
We can count the number of fish species that are moving. We do some fin clips so we can identify specific strains or stocks of fish. So we can kind of evaluate how well they're surviving and doing.
Using this info, Indiana Fish and Wildlife counted more than 7,000 steelhead swimming through their fish ladders last month. With all those fish out there, here are some of the best spots to find them in St. Joseph County. DNR staff told me some of their favorite places to fish are near the shallow gravel beds in Leaper Park and Central Park, just to name a few. And one big reminder before you head out to the river, you need to have a fishing license. Most people only have to pay $23 for the basic license and an extra $11 for the trout and salmon stamp here in Indiana. I'll have more information on other types of licenses in this story on our website. For now, I'm going fishing, guys.
All right. Well, you're not quite dressed for it, but
let me off the hook. How about that?
Oh, very good. Jack Springate, the singer there. Thank you, Jack. Turning now